I want women to know that they have a voice and they're important and they should do what they want to do.
I'm fucking hungry. What they said that we can do, I'm going to prove them that we can. If you just keep fucking going and you just don't stop.
Hi, baby, hop in the Lamborghini. I'm meaty, on me only, I'm meaty. Hi, baby, hop in the Lamborghini.
Left for a minute, I did not sweat it. Look at the cash I'm spending. There it goes.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. I would say second part, segment, whatever you want to call it. Today's second guest here is someone I've been following for a minute. As you all know, I've been raised by a single mom. I have 2 daughters at home. I have a beautiful wife. I am all for having a woman to go to different levels. And I often look for female entrepreneurs that I can have on the show. My wife's always calling people, hey, my husband needs female guests, but I don't have enough female guests. And today, that prayer was answered. Today, I have Katherin Rojas, who's an entrepreneur and has an amazing story, and we'll jump into it. Katherin, thank you for jumping on.
Thank you so much for
Appreciate
having
you.
me. Thank you for the
Seriously.
intro. Okay.
Was it okay?
I love that.
I
love
think I wish I got a little more hard on that. But anyways, yeah, Katherin, no joke, man. Raised by a single mom. My mom wasn't the most educated woman. She didn't know much, and she kind of gave up on life. My dad left her, and she started binge eating, and she lost purpose. She got depressed, and so like I don't know, man. And I had no sister, but after that, I was like, wherever I go, I want women to know that they have a voice, and they're important, and they should do what they want to do. Next is a man, right? I have some friends that are really backwards. Say, well, a woman's place is in the kitchen. No, I mean, if a woman wants to do that, and the husband and wife or fiance or whatever life partners want to do it, it's one thing. But if a woman wants to be an entrepreneur, she should fucking do it. And I saw your story. I was so inspired. Tell me where you were born.
Well, first of all, I appreciate, your words. It is fucking hard being a woman.
Yes.
It's hard and it's a tough journey, but if you just stick through it and you just go against all the odds, things are just going to work out, okay? It might not work at the beginning, but it's going to work out, and you just got to keep going. But a little bit about me, where do I start? I was born in Cuba. I left when I was 2. I moved to Israel. It was hard to get out of Cuba, and my mom was able to find a way because we're Jewish, so we moved to Israel, to the other side of the world, just to escape, right, to look for a better life. We lived there for many years, over 5 years. It was my first language, my first culture, everything. It's almost like I wasn't even Latina.
Really?
Yeah, I wasn't speaking Spanish because we had to learn a completely different language. So when I moved here to the States, it was so fucking hard. I mean it. It was so hard, from having to learn a new language, getting accustomed to a whole brand new culture. When I tell you every odds that could have gone against me was going against me, just because, you're different, just because you're not what everyone at school,
the normal,
right.
The normal breed, right?
Right, yeah. Right. And then, so that was pretty much that. We moved here, and then that's when the fun started.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Having to start from the bottom.
How old were you when you came from Israel to America?
I was 7 years old.
Okay. So you're still a baby.
Yeah.
You're very young. Mom and dad are together at that time?
Well, yes.
Okay.
It's a little complicated story.
Okay.
It's like my parents were always those parents that stayed together just to stay together, but they were not together.
They're not, okay.
Yeah, it was like a very toxic, household. Yeah. But yeah, they're together.
They're together.
Yeah.
They're together right now?
They're together right now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. How many brothers and sisters do you have?
I have one brother. He's younger than me, and then I have an older sister.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. How did that make you feel to be raised in a toxic household?
It was hard. Let me tell you, I just wish that, I don't wish that upon any child, really. Like I always said, it's always going to be different when I do it this time around, and the crazy part is that the struggles that we had at home, it was really financial struggles.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, we can't afford this. Like, look at all these bills. Like, how are we gonna go and get a car? Like, we don't have enough, you know, to put food on the table. Like, it was those type of arguments that would just get bigger and bigger, and then it would just crash in our family. And then, you know, unfortunately, us growing up, because it was my sister and me during that time, we had to see that. So I remember seeing that growing up. I was like, holy shit, damn, I don't want to be in that situation. Or there was also a part of me where it's like, how can I make it better?
Sure.
What can I do to just
prevent
like
that.
stop all of this?
That's sad. And you know, it's interesting. A lot of households have it especially back in the day. Still to this day.
Yeah.
You know. And by the way, some say, well, you know, I'm talking about myself, like, yo, your parents were not rich, and that's why it was toxic. No, even it's all toxic behavior. It runs from all socioeconomics platforms.
Correct.
Social, lower class, middle class, higher class. Everyone
Right.
has them, right? Wow, that's insane. So that affected you. Was you confident affected by that?
I think I took the problem and it gave me a drive. It gave me that hunger. You know, it's like when I tell people, it's like they're like, how do you do it? Like how were you able to you know, at one point working 3 different jobs? Like, how did you see the vision at the end of the tunnel? And all I kept saying was like, I'm fucking hungry. Like, what they said that we can do, I'm gonna prove them that we can. If you just keep fucking going and you just don't stop. Seeing that struggle, it just built that hunger within me to prove them that, you know, that people like us, immigrants, you know, we came to the country late, like they would say, that the American dream is still possible. But you just gotta put in the fucking work.
Yeah. Did you ever think for a second, wait a minute, you know, my skin color is not, I'm not white. My name is not Shelly. My name is not Walter. My dad, you know what I mean? We're not white. Did that ever affect you?
You want to know why? It's crazy, but it didn't.
That's awesome.
I remember that, I used to get bullied at school when I was younger. I know I used to get called all sorts of names. I mean, I was dark hair, big bushy eyebrows. So I remember I used to get bullied a lot, and I used to people used to make fun of me. And I used to come home and I used to cry and I used to talk to my sister because my mom wouldn't understand it. And then I was like, oh my God, they make fun of me. Like, and then I'm like, I don't see what they see. Like, what is the problem? Like, what is so different about me? So instead of me thinking like, you know what, it's because she looks like that or he looks like that, I never thought about it like that. I was like, what the fuck? We're all the same. I just speak a different language.
That's all. That's it.
I just speak a different language.
So you were wired different from day one, I guess.
I really do think I was, to be honest. I think mindset has always been something that I had within. I just didn't know how to explore it because I was in such a toxic household that when I did, you know, when I wanted to think different or when I wanted to explore different things, it's like, no, we don't do things like that. Or for people like us, that's not possible. Or don't work too hard. Well, for what?
Yes, I love those.
So it's like,
I love those. Oh, you know what? You can't do what they're doing.
Right.
You're not white.
Right.
You're not from the Kennedy family.
Right.
Don't think you could do that.
Yeah, I remember there was a story where my mom used to tell us, because it's funny how we landed in Cuba, because my family was originally from Turkey. So there was a boat during the Holocaust that took the women to Cuba. It just stopped. Like, my grandmother was very scared and she put all the girls in a boat and she was like, wherever this leads you, hopefully there is no Holocaust.
Yes,
they're not killing the Jews. So the boat of the women landed in Cuba, like out of all places. But the boat of the men, of the boys, landed in the USA. So I remember my mom, when we got here, she used to tell me like, damn, we just got so unlucky when that damn boat dropped us in Cuba and we had to struggle all our life. But the men's are living great here because they came here years ago. So that was always the mindset that, you know, that my mother had. And don't get me wrong, she took the risk, you know, to get us to a completely different country. She had the hunger. She was always a risk taker, but to an extent. There was still a lot of limiting beliefs that she was just bringing upon my sister and I. So I guess, you know, I just thought different. I just said, you know what? There's other things out there that we can do.
I saw that picture you're talking about. You did a thing on IG. It was an interesting picture. You're younger, you're a cute girl, but like what you became. And I think that's great for a lot of women deal with insecurities. A lot of girls do. Mm-hmm. And social media doesn't really help it all the time. Mm-hmm. Look, I love the Kardashians. Kim, what she's doing as an entrepreneur, she's doing amazing work. But I think there's a lot of pressure on women to look a certain way and act a way. But I'm sure women who saw that, girls who saw that, have inspiration from you, and thank you for doing that for the girls out there.
I try, I would lie to you if I told you I don't have insecurities. I think every woman, every man has some type of insecurity.
Of course.
It's just about, just putting yourself out there and be authentic as you possibly can.
Exactly.
Don't do it for you, but do it for the people that you can potentially impact.
Sure. So let's talk about it. So you come to Miami? Mm-hmm. What part?
I lived in Miami Gardens by Carol City.
Oh, wow.
I lived in an efficiency with my family. We're a family of 4. We're living in a 1-bedroom efficiency. I believe it was maybe I have the worst memory, so.
Yeah.
But I believe it was like a year or 2 years after we were able to go and move into a trailer.
Sure.
We lived in a trailer park for many years. I mean, that's where I went to the rest of my elementary, middle school, and then finally we were able to buy after years, a small home where we originally were living in the efficiency down the block.
Wow.
So yeah, that was that.
Wow. Did you have big dreams at that time?
I did, man. I used to go to different schools just because I wanted to be surrounded by different demographic of kids.
So you're young, but you know that you have to do that.
Oh, yeah. My mom, I told my mom, I was like, I don't know how we're going to do it, but we need to find a different address so I can go to the good school. Because I don't want to go to the bad school. Because I know in the bad school, I always had the hunger to grow. I was never in the streets. I was never, I was in my house all the time. I was a homebody, right? But I always had the hunger to grow. So I remember telling my mom, I was like, we have to find an address and I have to go to a good school. I don't want nothing crazy going on. So I remember finding that address and then going to a different school. So the bus used to drop me off kind of close to my house, but not really. So then I would have to walk the rest to my trailer park. And I remember the kids at school used to be like, why do you
get into the bus to
walk? Why do you go over there? Yeah. That's the trailer park? I'm like, no, that over there, no, that's where I have to go because my mom picks me. I was so embarrassed to say that I lived in the trailer park. Because I remember when I told someone at school that I lived in a trailer park, they were like, you live in that's not even a home. That's like a fake house. You don't even have walls. I remember that. And I was like, damn, no, I do. It makes a little noise when it rains.
Sure.
But it was as real as it got. It was all we were able to afford. And I was grateful. I was grateful for it.
Gratitude.
Yeah.
So you have all the ingredients of a boss lady from childhood, man. You've been blessed. You really have. I'm telling you, some girls will be like, no way, I'm not going to, look at the parents, what are you guys doing? Why are we living here? You didn't have that attitude.
No, all I was thinking was, what can I do?
To get out of here.
Right. What can I do?
Yeah.
And I feel like entrepreneurship was always part of me, even when I was young. I just didn't know how. I didn't know how someone becomes that.
Yeah.
I remember I had the hunger to wanting to make money because my parents were always arguing about making money. So I was like, oh, if I could get a job and I could just make a little money and bring something to this household. I remember the first, I would say, entrepreneurship experience that I had. I had a lemonade stand outside of my house. I used to live in the trailer park in the main street. So all the cars used to come to my house. So I remember I told my mom, I was like, look, if we can go to Walmart and we can go buy some lemonades.
Sure.
And I can sell some lemonades, I can make something. I don't know how much, but I can make something. And we did it.
You did it.
We went to go get some lemonade at Walmart. We couldn't even make fresh one. And insane. I was selling some lemonade in the front by myself because my sister was always very embarrassed of that. So was my mom. So there was me just in the front of my house trying to sell lemonade. Now, if you ask me, Kat, what were you saying? I don't fucking remember what I was doing. But I remember that I had that hunger. I remember that I was ready to just get out of my comfort zone. And I just wanted to do whatever. Whatever it took, I was willing to do it.
That's insane. You didn't care how you looked, how you felt, people making fun of you. You did not care about that.
No, I was already getting made fun of all the time at school. I feel like I went through that stage, and as sad as that was growing up, especially because I see so many kids getting bullied, and it's freaking tough.
It's tough.
And to me, it was like, you know what? That made me so strong that when people were like, God, you're so confident, you're so strong.
Sure.
It's because I went through so much shit. I went through so much judgment. I went through so much, so much obstacles when I was younger that now it's like, oh, you don't like me?
Sure.
Oh, you think I don't have X, Y, and Z? Well, I don't fucking care.
Yeah.
Like,
That's, wow. Were you same city in high school? Where'd you go to high school?
yeah, I went to high school in Everglades.
Okay.
It was in Broward.
Yeah,
So
I know
it was
that.
not Dade County.
Yeah.
I finished
It's
high
in
school.
Miramar, right? But is it, yes, okay.
Yeah. So yeah, I finished high school. I got my honors. I was playing soccer my senior year and my in middle school as well. That was another thing, right? I started to get into sports when I was a little older because sports was like unknown in my household. Like sports, anything that had to do with growing.
Sure.
Was just like, what is that? There's something wrong with you. There was discipline. There was something that caused you to just act a little different than the norm.
Sure.
It was just uncommon. So yeah, I started sports when I was in middle school, and then I really got addicted to the gym, but really to how much I was changing mentally because I was doing things that were so out of my comfort zone that I feel like just went into so many aspects of my life. But fitness was always a really big thing for me during like my teen years.
Wow. You probably got a lot of attention from boys, high school?
Not really.
No.
No.
Really?
Nobody liked me. No.
Really?
I was a weird girl. I don't know.
That's hard to believe.
I was always very quiet. I'm very
Okay.
like private.
Right,
I'm very
yeah.
like believe it or not, because on
It's funny,
social
but
media,
social media,
on
you
social media,
share
I'm
everything.
not. I think like I'm such an introvert, but like on social media, I'm outspoken because it's me, my tripod, my
Exactly.
phone. Let me talk my shit.
Exactly.
But in front of people, I'm like, hi,
Yeah.
like I'm
No,
a little
no,
bit more
I know
reserved.
people
I'm
like
very
that.
private.
Yes, I think I interviewed a TikTok family the other day, a couple. Same thing. She came on the interview. She freezed up. I'm like, Emily, you talked so much on it. That's interesting. College. You go to college?
Yes, I went to college. Well, okay, so the college situation. Let me give you a little story. So when I was in high school, I remember it was like about to be almost done where the kids are looking for colleges. I did the whole like, let's look for a college by myself. I don't think my mom even like encouraged me to go to college. No, she didn't even know that I went to like a college tour. I did it. I went to different colleges in Florida, and I was trying to push myself to want to do it, but I was like, I don't have the excitement like the other kids had. So I was my senior year. I was also working full time. I was working a full time job. I was working in an Italian restaurant as a waitress.
Okay.
Every day after school. So the reason why I tell you this is because they were an Italian family, and the owner of the restaurant, she was like, Kat, I would love for you to come to Italy with me. And I was like, holy crap, how many months do I have to save up to go to Italy? And she's like, I mean, it's not that much. You just get your air flight and you can stay at the house that my parents have.
Sure.
So I was like, say no more.
Okay.
I started saving up and I went to Italy. Long story short, I fell in love with Italy.
That's
I
awesome.
stayed in Naples and Rome for like a whole month. So I was like, wow, I love the culture. I love the people. I love the vibe. I love the scenery. I was like, what if I go to the university here in Rome? So I did that. I applied. And that's when I was kind of like discouraged about like going to college or whatever. I applied and I never heard back from them. So I was like a little discouraged. I was like, damn, okay, well, I didn't hear back from them. I really wanted to go. I guess maybe I'll go to a community college. I don't really know what I want to major. Why spend all that money?
Sure.
Let me go do my AA and figure it out. Okay, well, about a month or two later, I was talking to my dad, and I was like, no, I was waiting for a letter from like Italy. It was
Sure.
like a white, big paper. And they're like, oh yeah, it was like an acceptance to school. Yeah, we threw that away. I was like, what the, like, what do you
Yeah,
mean you guys
yeah.
threw it away? They're like, yeah, there's no way in hell you're going to go to Italy to go to school. So I was like, oh my gosh. That to me was like such a slap in the face, because I'm like, okay, so I'm like first generation to do anything.
Yes.
And then on top of that, you're telling me that I can't
do
go.
that.
So to me, that was like,
Yeah.
that is just unreal. Like
Yeah.
that's how toxic the household
Was.
was. That even like if you wanted to grow, or you wanted to do
Couldn't.
any,
Couldn't.
that was not possible.
No support.
No support at all. So I was like, okay. I ended up not going to Italy, and I ended up going to the community college. I started the community college, then I stopped. I moved on my own
Which one?
to Broward College.
Oh, BC.
Yeah, I went to BC. I stopped BC because I moved on my own. At that point, I had 2 jobs that I was working, and then I was also taking gigs on the side because that's when I started also like my modeling and all of that, just to make more money.
Sure.
After I got fired from one of the jobs, I was like, okay, I got to go back to school because I get financial aid and it pays for the rent.
Sure.
So I went back to school, and I was doing film. Then I went and did business. And then I started doing live streaming and broadcasting, and I started making a shit ton of money. And then I was like, fuck school. I'm not going to go to school. And I just started to do that. And then I was making money traveling. I was able to buy my first investment property, and just kept going, kept growing my skill sets, kept seeing what else intrigued me. How else can I make an income? What else was able to help me grow, you know? And then the pandemic happened. Those fun times.
Yeah.
You know? Those fun times that it was like, now what?
Yeah.
What you gonna
Challenge.
do? Yeah. During that same time is when I got into a relationship with my fiance. You guys
Sure.
already heard
Sure.
from him.
Mhm.
Completely two opposites.
Yes.
Eddie. And yeah, we started to work out. We were just like, you know what? It's tough times. What do we do now, right?
Yeah.
Like, we got to keep growing. We got to keep evolving. I started network marketing. Didn't know what the heck that was. Didn't know anything about what really business was. I
Sure.
just knew how to work hard.
That's it.
That's all I knew.
You
I
had that
didn't
in you.
know how to put a
Yeah.
business plan together. I didn't know how to put it all together. All I knew was just to work hard.
That's amazing.
Just work hard and just keep going,
That's
and
amazing.
eventually it's going to work for you. So I started network marketing. I built a huge organization. We expanded to so many different countries. Built a
you.
women empowerment
love
community. Girls Gone CEO.
I saw that hashtag. I love it.
Yes,
for
and
you.
they're in the verge of
They're killing it.
they're killing
You
it.
guys are killing it. You
they're-
guys are killing it.
Yeah, yeah.
You girls are killing it. Better word. Yeah.
But
yeah.
because of that, you know, it was almost selfish because there were so many people. So it's funny how the community came about, right? Like I told you, I was always into mindset, right? I always knew that I thought different, and I was always into mindset. So I was like, you know what? It would be nice to start like a Instagram page of just quotes. Maybe someone is going through a rough day and reads the quotes, and they just want to keep going because that helped me. So I started an Instagram page, and I just started posting quotes. That's all it was, just different quotes. But very bold. Like, if you get to know my personality, I'm very, like, aggressive,
That's
bold.
awesome.
So, like, the quotes were, like make shit happen. Like,
Yeah.
let's fucking go get it. So,
Yeah.
it was targeting a very, like, oh, shit, I want to be that woman,
Yes,
you know,
sure.
demographic. So, the Instagram page blew up. We're, like, almost 25,000 on Instagram right now. So we grew a really big women community
That's amazing.
of all types of women. You know, the women that are an entrepreneur, the women that are wanting to become one, the women that don't know how to get there, the ones that are killing it, right? So it was like, it's so diverse, and it's just growing. But you see, that I attached it with my network marketing business.
Sure.
But then it got to the point where there was the women were like, hey, what if we don't want to do network marketing, but is there something else that, you know, we can be part of this,
Sure.
this community? So we are in the works of making it happen
Dude.
to everyone, because it's just,
Let's do that.
you know, I wish when I was growing up that I had that help, right? That I had someone online that was providing some free
Mentorship.
content or any mentorship or anything.
Inspiration.
Anything that was just, you know, give me that hope of like, okay, I'm in the right place in my life, or you know what, there's more out there, you know. And I didn't have that, so I want to be that vision for
awesome.
those women that
my
are
my
in that.
wife is an entrepreneur. She will love that. I'll be awesome. Good stuff.